Well, Sunday was a big day. It wasn't even close to over yet. Uh, but I want to correct something. I mentioned that I said about, I referred to Elaine's mother. Her mother had been killed. Violet is Elaine's grandmother. Twi- I guess it's you could understand how I'd get it mixed up because she's living with her grandmother. So I wanted to straighten that up. Uh, Now, they got back to the house, and I can tell you that for the rest of Sunday, that Sunday, Elaine didn't talk much. She was kind of pensive. She had a lot to think about. She had been told by a man that she loved that he loved her. That was a new thing. Granted, he loved her as a sister, but still, she had to deal with that, and she was working it. And not only that, this man had touched her in an affectionate way, as a way of showing affection. This was a brave new world for Elaine, and she she just had to have time to react to the feelings that she was having. So she was fine. I mean, she was there, but she just didn't have that much to say because inside she was working through the stuff. Well, when they got back, Tira was there. That's Violet's friend. And Tira is just a little bit older than Violet, but not very much. And Tira had been she was retired, of course, but she'd been an art teacher at Richland High School. And the project that she was so excited about and kind of secretive about, she decided, well, she'd just tell them what she was doing. I think I might have mentioned that she had volunteered her help as the curator, sort of, what do you call it, emeritus or something like that. I mean, she's retired, but she would hold that title. She had all kinds of assistants helping her because she was getting up there in her 70s. A curator of the Ethno, and that show, the Ethno show, the first Ethno show, had been a success. There was no doubt. She knew before it even opened it was going to be a success, and it was such a success that she had got inspired on her own. Baskets was what that was, and what she wanted to do, what she was doing with Violet, was caning. That's sort of a good bit like basket making, and she was caning a sign that had three sections to it. It was going to be a storefront actually. The basket case. The basket case. That was going to be the name of her storefront. It wasn't really going to be a store. What she wanted to do was rent the front of a warehouse that was down there in East Richland, pretty close to that Catholic church. And she actually thought that Catholic church might help her with. And what she wanted to do was make sure that supplies were there for people who wanted to make baskets. She somehow thought, she and Violet had been influential in turning Richland into the city of free beer. Now she wanted to make Richland the city of baskets because it was just a good thing to do. And it was a wild idea, but it was her idea, not Violet's, but she'd been talking Violet into it. And so they had all kinds of bamboo materials there and in Violet's living room, and they were working on this basketry, this caning that they were doing. So she came clean and explained what her project was there. And now she took a little bit more time to meet, to get to know Lance. And when she found out what he had done, her impression was really, why would you do that? Why would you ride a bicycle across a continent when you didn't have to. What a crazy idea. She's a pretty outspoken lady, and she even said that. But she said she came up with an idea and an offer. She said, you know, you're injured. Where to get to the ocean with the surf and all that, you're gonna have to ride your bike down south a good ways from here. And you didn't you say that you lost your support structure, your buddies? You'd be by yourself. I got a better idea. I have a cottage down on the Chesapeake Bay, and it's down close enough to the ocean that the water's brackish. Wouldn't that do if you rode your bike to the point where you had made it to Atlantic Ocean saltwater and called that the ocean? Lance didn't have to think about it long. He said, great idea, because he wasn't really looking forward, well, he wasn't looking forward to leaving his wonderful hostesses and healers, but he also wasn't looking forward to getting onto those big roads and all and driving into, I think they were going to go into Virginia Beach, I think is where the plan had been. So he said, absolutely. And she explained it. Well, Violet knew the place well because she'd go there and spend weekends. It was like a vacation cottage. And it was right down there on the bay. And so he could park his bike and he could walk into the bay and he could swim at the little beach they had and even camp out. Or if he wanted to, Tira would put him up in her little cottage. So the deal was made. That's what he'd do, and he was so thankful. And then, and given that, he said, I think I better start riding my bike a little bit to see if I can actually do this. So he excused himself and he went out and he got on his bicycle for the first time in like 5 days or 6, and tried it out and rode a little bit. He stayed in the alleys. He rode down the alleys as far as Keats Street, which was where they'd come up from the Catholic Church, and turned around and then came back and did it again. He was okay. He was able to ride his bike. But to be able to ride it 20, 30 miles, whatever it was, to the bay, that was going to be a bigger challenge. So anyway, that was done. Now they had snacks for supper, and visited a little bit more, and then I didn't tell you that I mentioned 2 newspapers, the the Morning Lark. Well, the response to that had been a second newspaper called the Evening Hoot. One was a morning paper, one was an evening paper. The one was basically for people who got up early, or early risers, and the Evening Hoot was for people who stayed up late and then got up late. Well, Violet subscribed to both. They weren't really competitive. They just served different clientele, and so the edition of the Evening Hoot arrived, and I mentioned that because there on the front page was a headline that dealt with an interview about the ethno, but this time it was with Tatus.